Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to run through how you can set up your own custom PDF templates in order to present your designs on when you come to export them out of h2x. So as you might have already seen, you can export using this default template, which will infill properties based on your organization logo, the project name, the level you're working on, and other information such as the scale, the date of the revision. However, if you want to create your own template, you can do this by navigating to the system settings. On the system settings, you need to go down to PDF exports, which is under the other title here. You can then view any PDF exports that you might have already drawn, and you can also choose to create a new one. I'm going to run through the process of creating a new page. So once you click that button, you can select the page type you want. So whether it's a cover page, a title block, which will contain the design, or an appendix with some notes and different other appendices. You can choose to use a starter template or not. So you can have a basic title block, which would be the h2x title block. You can use an empty page without or an empty page with margins. We're going to go for an empty page without margins, and you can also select the paper size, which will determine the size of that paper, and it will also help us to set out our lines. So we're just going to start with the blank page and hit create. And this is going to give you this view here, where you can edit the name of the title block. So we'll call this one example. You can also change the page type at this point as well. You can choose which workflows you want this to appear under. So you might have separate layouts for different types of flow systems in h2x. And yeah, we can start to work on this. So first thing I'm going to do is draw my margins on my page. You can also select to have margins by default, and then you'll be able to edit them, but I thought I would show you how to draw the lines using the margins. So what you can do is you can select the line tool off the tool menu at the bottom here, and you can start to freehand draw your first margin. If we click onto that, you can see that you have some coordinates for that line. The X value is how far across horizontally that line is going to come. And if we change that, say, to 5mm, you'll notice that that's shifted slightly to the left. The size of the paper that you choose, so we've chosen A3, will determine the size in millimeters that you're going to be working to. And this paint sketch here will demonstrate how that works in h2x. So 0mm in both the Y and X directions is going to be in the top left hand corner. As you go across to the right, your X coordinate is going to increase, and as you go to the bottom, your Y coordinate is going to increase. So if we go onto this line again, we know that an A3 sheet of paper is 297mm tall. So if we want that Y marker to stop 5mm short of that, we need to put in 292. So it's important to know the size of the paper that you're working with in order to set these coordinates correctly. Also change your Y1 coordinate to 5, and it's a case of drawing those lines in. So what I usually do is draw my lines in roughly where I want them to go. And then I go and edit each of those individual markers. So I want my Y coordinate to be 5. I want my X coordinate to start at 5 and finish at 415, because the A3 sheet of paper is 420mm wide. And then it's a case of playing around with those numbers. So in this one, we want our X coordinate, how far along the horizontal it is, to be 415. Our Y starting coordinate to be 5. Our ending Y coordinate to be 292. And then we need to just do this last one. So our starting Y coordinate would be 292. Our starting X coordinate would be 5, and our ending X coordinate would be 415. Okay, you can obviously continue that throughout the project. So let's say if I wanted to have a block off to the right here, I would just need to know how many millimeters I want that line to be offset from the right hand side of my design. So my starting Y coordinate will be 292, ending coordinate will be 5 in this case. This depends on which way you've drawn it. Having 1 to either end of the scale will just ensure that that line is in the correct place. If we wanted that to be 60 millimeters away from our margin line, we have to account for the 5 millimeters from the edge of our paper. So 65 taken away from 420 would be 355 millimeters. Hit enter, that's going to give us a 60 millimeter wide block to work from. And then you would continue to draw out your lines and edit the coordinates to get the layout that you want. This process is a little bit slower than obviously designing in h2x. However, you only need to do this once because you can use a template project which will bring across all of your custom templates each time you come to do a design. Okay, I have a pre-prepared document here, my title block A3, and you can see that I used those procedures to give myself a drawing title block layout similar, well, as is shown here. Now that you've got your lines drawn in, you can begin to add details such as text. Click on your text button there, drag it to the location you want that text to be added. You can then edit the text being shown. You can edit the font size, and you can also choose to have it bold or italic. You can choose what baseline and what alignment you want it to have as well, so whether it's centered, left to right or top to bottom. And you can also edit the sphere influence it has. We can also use prefab information. So this is information that's going to be pulled from h2x. So because I've chosen scale in our left title block here, we can choose the scale option off this drop down list. So just struggling to find scale. Oh yeah, scale text would be the one we want, and we can just drag that into place into the information field there and reduce that box so it doesn't shift off our page like so. You can also do this with the level name, the designer, the project number, project address, client name. You can also choose your company logo and have that on the drawing in as many places as you like. And you can also enter text. Sorry, you can also add images from your computer, and you can add rectangulars to colour in certain areas. So for example, if we wanted this to be filled in, we can click on that shape we've just drawn and we can actually edit the colour and give a index reference, so you can have that on brand for your company as well. I want mine to be blue. I forget the h2x hex number for blue, so I'm just going to have it that colour. Okay, so that's how you get a title block page set out. Once you've done, just hit save and exit, and then just make sure that you only have one title block per paper size on your project, so it's the one you want to use. You might have an A1, A0, A3, as many as you have there. So I'm just going to delete this extra one that I have. And in addition, you can also add appendix pages. So this would be part of the appendix towards the back of your drawing set once you've entered it. And on here, you might just have a notes page. And I'm going to denote that with just a massive piece of text saying notes. Obviously you could add images, text, you could line this up similar to the way that we lined up our drawing template, but this is just going to be added to the back of that drawing. And again, you can change up what flow system this is going to appear on, so you might have a separate one for heating and cooling versus a water design. Hit save and exit. Now if we go back to our project, go to results, hit export, we can go to export our PDF, and in order to use our custom exports we need to hit this button here. It's worth noting, and I'm going to add a note at the beginning of this video actually, that this will not be available on the free trial version of the app. It's only available once you've subscribed to a paid account with h2x. So yeah, if we hit this button, you'll see that our custom drawing sheet has been brought in, and it's actually filled in some of the information from our project settings. So our address, our client name, which can all be found under info on the project settings, the ground, the floor name as well, I'm sure at the bottom there, and then hit export all levels, and you can export that as you would usually do with your custom drawing sheet being used and the notes page being attached there as well. Okay, if you have any questions or need any help with this process, please feel free to reach out to us. The best way to get in touch with support is via the in-app help hub. Ask a question in here. If h2x can't give you a typed answer, it's going to go through to our support team. Thank you very much, and I will see you later.